What happens when a bully believes he owns the crowd, only to realize he has chosen the wrong target? On a busy afternoon, Coco Jones found herself backed against a wall by a towering bully who thought he had the upper hand. His smirk carried arrogance as he leaned closer, trying to humiliate her in front of dozens of onlookers. Some in the crowd laughed nervously, others whispered, unsure if they should step in, while a few pulled out their phones to record the moment. Coco stood firm, her eyes calm but piercing, refusing to let fear show on her face. The bully mistook her silence for weakness, pressing harder, determined to break her dignity in front of everyone watching. Yet, beneath her steady gaze was a truth no one in that street could have imagined. In just seconds, the laughter would fade, the whispers would stop, and the entire crowd would witness a shocking truth that would leave the bully frozen in place. Coco Jones stood pressed against the cold brick wall, her tall frame trying to hold steady even as every eye on the streets turned toward her. She was confident by nature, someone who carried herself with grace wherever she went, but at this moment the weight of public humiliation settled heavy on her shoulders. The whispers and stares of strangers cut deeper than she wanted to admit. Some people in the crowd looked uneasy, shifting uncomfortably, while others smirked and laughed as if watching a cruel performance. In front of her stood the bully, towering, arrogant, and thriving on the spectacle he had created. His voice carried loudly over the chatter of the street, every mocking word designed to entertain the onlookers. He thrived on this kind of attention, feeding off the nervous glances and laughter around him. He leaned in close, using his size to dominate, making sure Coco had no easy escape. His smirk said everything. He believed he owned this moment, that she was nothing more than his target for the day. The setting made the scene feel even more suffocating. It was a busy street lined with shops, people walking by with bags in their hands, cars honking in the distance, and yet the entire block seemed to freeze. Strangers had stopped in their tracks, caught between curiosity and discomfort, unwilling to intervene but eager to see what would happen next. The crowd formed an invisible cage around Coco, isolating her further. She stood alone, her back against the wall, her breath steady but her eyes betraying the storm building inside. Every second stretched longer, the humiliation cutting deeper as judgment from the crowd pressed in on her. For now, she looked like just another victim cornered by someone louder and stronger. But deep within her calm exterior, something was beginning to shift, something the bully and the crowd had no idea was coming. Coco Jones felt the heat of the bully's gaze on her, but inside a calm fire burned. She wasn't afraid, she never had been. Every insult, every shove of the wall reminded her of the countless times she had faced prejudice and aggression in her life. Growing up, she had learned that power came not from loud voices or brute strength, but from discipline, strategy, and the confidence to stand tall when everyone else expected her to bow. Her mind flashed through memories of grueling training sessions, moments where she pushed herself beyond pain and fear, and lessons from mentors who taught her to control her body and her emotions. Each memory strengthened her resolve, a reminder that appearances were deceiving and that the strongest people often wore the calmest faces. As the bully jeered, she let him dig his own grave. She allowed him to believe he had the upper hand, to overestimate his control, and to underestimate her. Every sneer he gave, every mocking step he took closer, only fueled the storm that lay hidden beneath her serene exterior. She observed his posture, his aggression, and calculated the perfect moment to respond, not out of anger, but with precision and inevitability. The tension in the air thickened. The crowd felt it too, though they didn't understand it yet. Coco's silence wasn't weakness, it was power waiting to be unleashed. The micro-hook lingered. The bully thought he had in charge, but soon he would learn that the woman he mocked was far more dangerous than anyone in that street could have imagined. The bully, feeling unstoppable, shoved Coco harder against the wall, his hand gripping her arm with a force meant to intimidate. The crowd reacted immediately. Gasps rippled through the onlookers. Some stepped back, and someone shouted, "That's too far!" Yet Coco didn't flinch. Her eyes, calm but piercing, met his, and for the first time she spoke. Her voice cut through the tension like steel, steady and commanding, silencing the whispers and gasps alike. "I suggest you release me before this gets serious," she said, her tone calm yet layered with authority. The bully laughed nervously, trying to maintain his bravado, but Coco didn't stop there. With deliberate movements, she revealed a badge clipped subtly to her belt, her identification unmistakable: Coco Jones, influential, respected, and far more powerful than anyone standing on that street had imagined. In that instant, the bully realized he had underestimated her, and the street held its breath, waiting to see what would unfold next. The tension was electric. Everyone understood the tables had turned, and the bully now faced a reality he hadn't prepared for. Coco's presence was no longer just a woman standing against harassment, it was a force commanding respect, and everyone watching knew that what came next would change everything. As Coco stood tall, the truth became undeniable. She wasn't just another passerby, she was Coco Jones, a powerful public figure whose influence extended far beyond the street corner. The subtle badge and the way she carried herself revealed years of discipline, resilience, and authority. The crowd, which had moments ago laughed and whispered, now fell into stunned silence, their expressions shifting from amusement to awe. Phones still recorded, capturing the moment the balance of power changed completely. The bully, once cocky and unafraid, froze mid-step. His arrogance evaporated instantly, replaced by shock and disbelief. Every insult he had thrown, every shove or mockery, now felt insignificant against the reality of who Coco truly was. His smirk disappeared entirely, replaced by hesitation and fear as he realized the consequences of underestimating her. The emotional energy in the crowd shifted. People who had cheered or watched entertained now looked with reverence and caution. Whispers spread like wildfire. Coco Jones commanded respect, and no one, not even the bully, could ignore it. The tables had turned in seconds, transforming humiliation into empowerment. The micro-hook lingered in the air. Everyone watching understood that this was only the beginning, and the bully's world had just been upended. Coco stepped forward, her posture calm, confident, and unyielding. She no longer appeared as the victim, but as a figure commanding respect. Every eye in the crowd turned to her, sensing the shift in energy. The bully, who had thrived on intimidation, now found himself shrinking under the weight of her presence. He realized that physical strength was meaningless against the authority and truth she radiated. Without lifting a hand, Coco's words and composure spoke volumes. She didn't need to strike or yell. Her quiet confidence and revealed identity humiliated him far more than any physical retaliation could. The same crowd that had cheered his arrogance now murmured in admiration for Coco. Some spectators even stepped forward, confronting the bully, making it clear that his actions would not be tolerated. The bully, once cocky and sure of himself, retreated slowly, shame overtaking arrogance. Coco remained poised, adjusting her jacket and meeting the crowd with a nod of assurance. The energy had shifted completely. She had turned a moment of public humiliation into a display of power, dignity, and undeniable influence. Microhooks lingered. Everyone watching understood that Coco's impact went far beyond this single encounter. Humiliating others only exposes weakness, while dignity, truth, and strength always prevail. The bully thought he owned the street, towering over everyone, laughing at what he assumed was an easy target. But he never understood whose shadow he was truly standing in. Coco's calm authority, her revealed identity, and the respect she commanded turned the tables instantly. The crowd's energy shifted, and what began as public humiliation ended in a powerful lesson for all. Have you ever seen a bully fall silent the moment the truth was revealed? Think about it, and tell us what you would have done in Coco's place.